Now he kicked a kicker?
Come on.
Oh,
Irving.
my God. 5 out of 10. Kicked him right in the hamstring.
5 out of 10.
That's strong.
5 out of 10.
So
my big thing is, and we get a chance to talk to an absolute icon right now in the sports world about this, and it was kind of a long build-up to get to this point because I think we had to for the Urban Meyer situation. Like, if Urban Meyer's kicking you and it's like, hey, I want to fight you, like, I think you have to stand up in that moment. Like, if he's calling Lambo kicker and not calling him by his name, and I understand that you're a kicker, and our position, punter, kicker, everything, is much less important to the entire team than every other. I understand that. But as a human and as an adult, as the fourth highest accuracy percentage kicker in the history of the NFL, Josh Lambo, at some point, whenever this dude keeps calling you kicker, you got to say, hey, my name's fucking Josh, all right? And I'm the fourth highest accuracy in the history of the fucking NFL. I can't wait to be on your goddamn team. Like, at some point, you have to say that. So all these stories are coming out. He never called me by the name. He kicked him. It was like, I understand, should never do that. That is disgusting. Okay, I'm happy he came out and told the story. But also, at some point, you got to stand up to yourself and say, hey, fucking asshole, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I think personally. But I'm happy everything got exposed, I guess, and we're learning more and more about the failure that was Urban Meyer at Jacksonville. How about him brutally kicking a kicker in the hamstring?
God damn it.
Have we missed anything?
5 out of 10, yeah. Back in August, you're right.
What does that mean, you think? You know, and this is, you know, kicker. I like Lambo. I've never really hung out with him, but I've met him. He's incredibly talented at his kicking position. He was an MLS goalkeeper. This guy was drafted in the MLS, incredibly talented soccer player, goalie, who made the transition to the NFL very well. Fourth highest accuracy in the history of the NFL. Everything like that. Plays good guitar, I think. He's
Really?
Yeah, he's a very talented guy.
It didn't get cut, though. It didn't get cut until weeks after the alleged kick of the hamstring because he'd been missing kicks and extra points, though, right?
Yes, I believe, and he even admitted that he didn't get cut for that, but you have to assume that whenever you just, a 5 out of 10, dude.
Yeah.
5 out of 10.
He didn't report it, though. Did you guys talk about how he reported it to his agent? His agent called the Jags. The Jags said, oh, okay, let's have like a counseling session. And Lambo, I think, said something about, I'm not really aware of that. I don't remember that being the case.
Okay, so the Jaguars are saying, hey, we heard about this. We tried to do everything possible to make the situation be much better after acknowledging it. Lambo say never heard of it. Let's see if there's any more information from behind the scenes that we may have missed here. Is a 5 out of 10 like, hey, I want to fight you? And if a dude was calling me kicker or punter, then kicking me, and he had a higher percentage than a lot of people, if I had the 9th highest, 10th highest, 11th highest, 15th highest, and I'd been around for a long, 10th highest, 9th highest, top 10. If I had top 10. And a guy was not calling me by my name and kicking me, like at some point, right, I assume he said, like, hey, my name's Josh, fuck off, or is that just how Urban does his thing, you think, AJ?
I mean, I would assume people have stood up like that and stood up for themselves. Now, in this situation, I don't know. Urban hasn't spoke on it, but don't you think Urban will say, like, I was playfully kicking him. I was almost like joking around, like, hey, man, make your kicks. Like, I was just trying to get him going.
Yeah, Urban's side of this is I was actually trying to become better friends with this guy. Hey, dipshit, make your fucking kicks.
Yeah,
like
motivate him.
That's probably how, you know, like an Ohioan potentially would think about this.
What if Urban Meyer came on this show? How do you think that would go?
Oh, it'd be awesome.
I think he's going to fucking crawl into a hole for the next couple years.
No way.
I think
But
so.
hey, to that guy's
No
question,
way.
a college team would definitely hire him if he wants to coach again. You know that.
Yeah, for sure. But I think I could see that being, 2 years from now. Because, like, it used to be, like, when he was at Ohio State and stuff like that, like, sure, like, fan bases maybe didn't like him, but I feel like he has got a life's worth of bad publicity, and, like, this shit never came out, and then his entire reputation and, like, how people perceive of him.
Because he was winning the whole time. Because he was never losing games.
Right.
When you lose, this stuff comes out.
So is that what everybody meant whenever they said, Urban's never lost before? They weren't talking about him being able to handle the competitive loss. They're talking about everything that potentially comes with the losing.
Maybe, and I don't know exactly. Yeah, maybe. I think also you can see, like, how much the losing bothers him, too. And it just... Yeah, I don't know, though, because then, they'll think if he turned, like, okay, let's say the players don't like how he's treating them now. If they turn around, they start winning a bunch of games, coaches tend to want to hold on tighter, and they're going to push even harder. So when you start winning, it may not get that much better there.
Hey, 5 out of 10, dude.
It's pretty hard.
We should judge how hard that may be.
I know, it's interesting.
I think it's hard enough where it doesn't hurt, but it's also hard enough where you, like, get knocked off balance.
It was probably was jarring. Like, oh, it's surprised. Like, what?
It was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, and we do not have that relationship for you to kick me in that fashion. You don't even know my name.
And to his point,
But isn't your
in the
natural reaction, though,
workplace.
Pat? Sometimes if someone hits you or something happens, you instantly throw a punch.
Well, that's what I was trying to allude to
Like
earlier.
it's just not like a natural thing where you get dinged in a certain way. You
Fuck
just
you.
boom.
Yeah, it's
Do
hard.
something.
It's hard not to at least have, maybe not immediately throw a punch.
Not to the face, like chest or back.
Yeah,
or
push,
something.
like a push though, like some sort of.
Cock
And,
it
and I
back.
wonder if that happened. I mean, we don't know,
I don't think so.
but I don't. We sound like the biggest meatheads of all time, though. Do you know that? Like, and I love Josh Lambo, incredible kicker, very successful, great athlete. I just don't know how we get to that point. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how we get. And that sounds like just like, oh, this is big talk. I'm being serious though, and we can ask Chuck, who's going to be joining us in about 10 minutes. Like, how does a coach and a player get to a point where the player actually think fourth highest accuracy in the history of the NFL and one of the pillars of the team? How did they get to a point that quickly where the guy who got kicked thought like, oh, this was ill-intended, like that? You know what I mean? Like ill-intended. It's like that is a big question mark as well. You know?
Yeah, it had to surprise a lot of people that saw it in the moment, and then you had to start thinking about it, like, wow, okay, I've never seen anything remotely like this happen on an NFL field.
Because somebody will say something to me that I'm tight, and I'm like, oh, all right, fuck off. Somebody that I'm not tight with says it though, and I'm like, hey, why don't you eat a bag of shit? You know, like there's like relationships that you have with people.
Okay, we're not. Hey, I understand. Like you think, like you see us talking, us two, like me and my brother, and me and you talk, but hey, you guys can't come in and say that.
Hey, listen, are you the all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers? No, okay. Do not speak to me that way. You know, now the AJ can do it, but like that is a friend and like not a friend. The fact that Josh's first response was like a combative, you know, like he thought it was a combative thing. That's not good. That's
Not
I think
good.
that what led to that point is the biggest story of this entire thing. But also, what if Josh just stands up and punches him right in the mouth? What if
folds
Josh
him?
Lambo had been
Unbelievable.
in the Oculus too, and he literally hit him with a pop and just drops him on the thing? That would have been awesome.
No, what would have been better is if he stood up and he has like a nice form tackle. They go to the ground, they're rolling around. You're like, is that Josh Lambo with our head coach rolling around the ground throwing punches?
What if he just tackles him down by the ankles and then just starts kicking him in his kidney and his, you know what I mean? Could you imagine? You're in your head that the punter might be a guy who's going to come in here and give me a little bit of a, hey, this is how people are feeling about something. I think about that a lot when my natural reaction for the Lambo thing was if Urban Meyer was calling me kicker or punter, like if he was calling me and Vinny, kicker or punter, and we're in however many years we're into our career, Vinatieri obviously never anything like that. I think Vinny and I at some point would be like, hey, my name's fucking Pat. This is Vinny. We were here before you. We'll probably be here after you. Let's go ahead and, there has to be some sort of that somewhere. That whole situation, I just think back, well, maybe it's because he's a kicker and he just felt like he couldn't do anything. He felt so low, but that should never be a feeling you have within the team. If outside they think that, within the locker room, I don't know. That was just a very interesting thing for me. It was very, very interesting, Chuck.
No, I don't get that. And we all were brought up in this profession maybe a different way, saw different ways to do things. Obviously, like you guys said 1,000 times over, winning, cures a lot of things. And when you win, you tend to be able to get away with more, maybe. And so, obviously, at the college level, Urban's been able maybe all this stuff. There was red flags, there was stuff, there's things, there's this, there's that. I'm not here, obviously, to judge all that, but there was a certain way that he probably did business and thought, I can get away with it. I remember when I first jumped from college to the National
Here we go.
Football
That's
League
what I was about to ask.
in Cleveland. When
yeah.
I went to the Browns, there was a learning curve for myself. I'll be quite honest with you, and the players taught me, and I had to listen. And it is the men's league, and you are dealing with grown men and people that have wives and have children and smart dudes, that you just can't, however you maybe did things, at the college level or talk to guys or coach, there was a learning curve there. And I learned a ton, not only from the players, but also, from the assistant coaches that had been in the league that I was working with. And again, the relationships are huge, but the way you have conversations, the way you talk, the way you teach, the way you coach, and especially, you come after a dude in front of his peers.
Oh.
again, that relationship better be very, very strong. You know, it better be rock solid if you come after a dude in front of his peers, because you may still get nose to nose, you know, and there may be some, some words there, probably no blows. But if there is no trust and no relationship there, you're going to get your ass kicked. A grown-ass man's going to jump all over. I'm serious. They'll come after you, and there'll be people pulling that thing apart.
That's what AJ said, isn't it if somebody kicks you and you think it's in a combative fashion, isn't your immediate response to punch the person? And I was like, I think it would if you thought it was combative,